O E N E O N O.
Hey everybody, it's Sherpa Rage guys, and today I am going to be taking a look at Oberon again. Finally doing a video since his rework. It's been a while, I know, since I've done a frame build, and I've wanted to touch base on, of course, my boy Oberon for a while here. Spent a lot of time doing various builds with him, trying different things. All in all though, gotta say this is probably my favorite build that I've come up with him so far. As far as I know, this was the build that I theory crafted, or a slight variation of it that I theory crafted day one of the Oberon rework, the final Oberon rework, I should say. I kind of coined it as the Hurt Me Daddy build. I think a lot of people probably built similar builds to this. As far as I know, I was the first one that came up with this. Can't verify that. I'm gonna say it though. That's just what I'm sticking to. I'm going to stick to my guns on this one. Being one of the first people that kind of, got to go in and really do this, break this down. Looking at the way his build was going to work, kind of coming up with this variation though. I'm totally claiming credit for that. That's all I have to say. But anyway, jumping right into the build. I'm going to touch base on the arcanes a little bit first before I go directly into the modding. So I run Arcane Avenger and Arcane Guardian. Arcane Avenger is really nice for that on damage. Basically you have a chance to take or get an additional crit chance, which is super nice. I'm really close. I need 2 more of those, and I'll have a full set of the Arcane Avenger for him, which will be nice. Other ones that I know a lot of people like to run are Guardian. You could run Barrier, but I wouldn't recommend Barrier with this build in particular. There's plenty of different ones. Pulse is great because of the way his ult functions. Rage works too if you're going to be focusing on headshots. Typically I like Rage more on someone like Harrow, but you could definitely run it on him. There's plenty of good arcanes for Oberon that you could definitely run that's going to work with him. But I recommend with this build in particular, Avenger and then Guardian, because Guardian is also very, very nice, just getting additional armor, and it's also on damage, so essentially on damage for both of them, being the triggers, is going to be very, very nice, considering that this build relies around you taking metered damage. So you're like, alright Sherpa, what is this build? What does it focus on? Well, you're going to want to take metered damage in order to keep your energy up with Hunter's Adrenaline. You're also going to want to focus on keeping your heal active. Basically, what you would want to do is get your energy up at least enough to sustain, maybe like 200 or 300 points, something like that. You're going to want to cast your heal on everybody. Hopefully you hit your whole team, right? You're going to want to stack the armor under them, give them the hollowed ground. So use the 3 in conjunction with the 2 basically there. Now it is important to note you can just hit everyone with the heal, and then if they run different directions you can finally catch up with them later and keep the heal up, drop the 2 under them to give them the armor buff. So they will have the heal going, but they won't have the armor buff until you hit them with the 2. So basically, if people run away or whatnot, and if you're running rando missions or missions with randos, who knows what's going to happen, right? So it's always kind of hard to coordinate teams sometimes like that. So I recommend at least casting the heal as soon as you can. It's great on like defense or survival missions where everyone kind of waits up and pops an energy pad or 2, because then you can hit everyone right there in that range, which is really, really nice. So just looking at the stats, 225 armor, 744 energy, 925 health, 300 shields, standard sprint speed of 1.0, 67 duration, and then 175 efficiency. It's actually 190, but as you know, hard caps for casted abilities at 175. Channeling is going to take benefit of both the Fleet Expertise and Streamline at the 90, which is really important to note because that's kind of what the crux of this build is, per se, is just running the heal all the time. And honestly, it's like, well, okay, you're running the heal, you put the 2 down for the armor, you maybe use the 2 for the status negation and everything like that. What about the 1 and the 4? Well, honestly, if you're playing this build right, and with how low of energy per second and energy per target you're going to be draining on your heal, you can cast your 1 and your 4 to your heart's desire, which is what I love to do. Being able to cast the rest of his skills and the rest of his kit, basically never touch the 3, touch the 2 when you need to, you know, throw it for fun. Eventually you'll hit a point where you're like, I've cast my ult 4 times, I've cast my smite 6 times, I still have 100 points of energy, I'm taking damage, I'm getting more energy. Shits and giggles, throw the carpet down, you know. That's the nice thing about Oberon, is he becomes very, I wouldn't say like spamma oriented, but very freeing in the amount of abilities that you are able to cast with this build, which is very fun, because it's like, hey, you know, I'm playing a Space Ninja shooter, I only want to shoot so much, I want to, you know, do these crazy fanatical magical abilities, right? So that's kind of one of the nicer things about this build too. So vitality, of course, you want as big of a health pool as you can hit. So when you do get hit, Hunter's Adrenaline has, you know, can give you more energy. You can soak up, you know, more there, and then of course with the armor, that's going to reduce the damage. It's all really kind of a nice little synergized package, which I really gotta give DE props for in his rework. I'm a little biased because Oberon's my favorite frame, but I think maybe if I could say, you know, like objectively, I think Oberon's rework may be the best rework of any frame that we've gotten thus far. Let me know what you guys think about that. I think in terms of just an overall what they changed him from and what he does now perspective, it's honestly quite astounding, and I am just super in love with it and the way that it functions now. But yeah, so Vitality, Hunter's Adrenaline. I personally like to run both Transient Fortitude and Intensify, as well as Power Drift, so I got the trifecta of power mods there, giving us that nice 200% power strength. Honestly, not big on the Blind Rage. I know I've seen a lot of builds that run Blind Rage with like Hunter's Adrenaline stuff, and yes, the Hunter's Adrenaline is nice, but I already seem to have enough issues with people, you know, killing things that are trying to damage me, and I'm like, hey dude, I'm trying to get, you know, energy from this. So it depends on how well coordinated your teams are, things like that. I personally don't like sacrificing the efficiency though. That's just a personal preference thing. If you can fit it in your build and you want more power strength and it works for you, dude, more power to you. You know, best of luck on that. But I'm okay with the 200% power strength. Honestly, even 175 would be fine. I have a couple other builds, but they all pretty much around that 200, except for my Eidolon Hunter one, which is really going to be more focused on just, you know, Phoenix Renewal and Smite Infusion for other things. But that's a little bit different build. We're kind of just sticking to this one specifically now. So I do run that 200% power strength, which is great when it comes to the armor stripping mechanic between the 4 and the 2. Usually only takes about 2 casts or so, I believe, to really remove that armor there. Or really technically a cast and a half, but, you know, by the numbers. But 2 casts will strip pretty much anyone's armor there, at least up to like 100 or something like that. So we got the Prime Flow, obviously, for the high energy pool, which is super nice. Prime Continuity to sort of cancel out the Transient Fortitude and the Fleeting Expertise. The important thing to note here is 40% duration is the magical number in terms of negative duration. If you have the 190 efficiency, as long as you have above 40% duration, you will be at the max, the absolute max, in terms of your like energy per second, energy per target. If you look at my build on this one right now, here, I'll show you. 0.5 energy per second and 0.75 energy per target. Now, that's at 67%. I can go up in duration and it won't do anything because that's the hard cap right there. Now, if I go down in duration to, say, 12%, it will be much worse. It's at a 1.6 and a 2.4 energy per target. So 40 is really the sweet spot there. I could swap, say, what can I do? I think if I put on Augur Message here, that'll get it at 36%. Which you'll have note, it goes down, but it's still not quite 0.5 and 0.75. It's 0.55 and 0.82. So as you'll see, it's like not quite. Now if I put on continuity and put me on just the other side of 40 at 43% there, and we go look at abilities, boom, we're back to the 0.5 and 0.75 energy per target. So that is the magic numbers at 40%. So if you can stay right in that range, it is like kind of crucial, I would say, to keep in that numbers. Now on mine, I run at 67%, which is also the duration. A lot of things really aren't affected. Well, I take that back. Of the way that Oberon's actually kitted, strength mods, duration mods, and range mods affect all of Oberon's abilities. So that's a really good way if you're like, hey, I just picked up Oberon, killing some Eximus stuff. I got a full set of Oberon. I'm going to build him. What do I want to, what mods do I want to prioritize? Well, strength, duration, and range affect literally every ability. So kind of depends on what your focus is. Do you want to be more healer support? Do you want to be more damage? Personally, with this build, I'm more healer support with the damage sort of thrown in there. It's a good hybrid build in my opinion, because you really get the healing support, you get the damage, and you're like, all right, well, normally you can't have both of that, sacrificing something. Well, you're sacrificing sort of your shields and your numbers, but you're doing it in a fashion that actually benefits the build, because hey, now when I take damage, I get more energy for set abilities that I'm trying to keep up and keep going and support, the team with. So that's honestly, this Oberon build to me is like just so intricately perfect on every single level that that's why I love his rework. To me, this rework just speaks to me on a level that no other Frames kit synergy quite has. I mean, you could say things like Saren, this, that, and the other, but it's like I've loved Oberon pretty much since he's come out December 18th, 2013, and after playing this game near 5 years, this is incredible. I never thought I would see a build like this on Oberon. I never thought I would see something this amazing, in my opinion, on my favorite frame. So the fact that it exists now is just incredible. So honestly, guys, I pretty much let the build in terms of the mods speak for themselves. Prime Flow, the Prime Continuity to kind of cancel these out, and then of course Streamline and Fleeting Expertise. I will show you guys the numbers real quick again. Honestly, the only thing is range is really kind of the thing I would like better, which is not that bad. Duration, like I said, does take a little bit of a hit. You'll notice the carpet only lasts 13.5 seconds, which for applying armor is fine. The other buff that I have that's at 12 is about 2.8 seconds or something like that, which is plenty fine. For immuning and doing things like that, the little bit longer duration is nice. So if you want immune status procs, things like that, that is going to be nice to have. The bleed out slow, I don't really use it for that, because if your team keeps bleeding out like that, you're kind of not playing Oberon the way that this build's meant to work. But hey, bleed out slow, at least then they maybe have a chance. You have a chance to revive them. The buff duration when you actually remove the heal is only 13.5 seconds, which whatever. That's not a focal point of this build. The blind duration of Reckoning, again, not a focal point, but works pretty good. So as you'll see, initial damage 1,000, orb damage 300, orb damage percent 35, number of orbs 12, orb range meters 12.5, range meters 50. Most of that's free stock, except the damage is really nice, and the number of orbs is solid there too. 180 angle, 15 radius, 13.5 duration, 200 damage, 30% stash chance. The heal breaks down rather nicely there. 400 armor is huge. Health over time's 80. Both those numbers are very, very nice. The initial heal is 250. Duration is 2 there. But the huge thing right here that I do want to point out is armor reduction is 60. So when you stack Reckoning and then do the Hollowed Ground, That is 60%. So 2 cast, that's 120% armor reduction right there, which is, whew, that's pretty damn good right there. So like I said, also the efficiency, as you'll notice, 25% or 25 energy reckoning, 6% or 6. Jeez, excuse me, 6 energy there for renewal, 13 for hollow ground, and 6 for smite. So pretty important to note. Yeah, those are really great. That max efficiency is great. And then of course his passive, like I said, I usually like to run a Kavat. Critty Kitty is really nice, and I will run that during this demo. So guys, I am going to go ahead and show you in the sim. It's a little bit different than my older videos. I'm going to put a bunch of corrupted up here, level 100, not paused. So I will go ahead and grab some energy. Like I said, typically you want to have as much as you can. I usually try to max out what I can before I start fighting dudes. So what you want to do is get down here, cast heal, cast that right away, 400 armor, you know. Arcane Avenger's already procced, and see, that's the beauty, is since you're going to be trying to focus on taking damage, Arcane Avenger is going to be great. Arcane, the Guardian is going to be huge too. Arcane Guardian, see, already procced on taking damage. It's like, oh no, things are hurting me. Well, I'm getting energy. Also, you know, taking energy will heal you. Now, see, that's still pretty good for CC. If you want the armor stripping, you gotta cast that twice. Look at that, armor gone. Boom, perfect, just perfect right there. There's the 2. Like I said, now this basically just leaves you to do whatever you want. Like, oh, I want my status procs, you know, don't hit me, don't be able to do things to me. And then of course the radiation is also very solid just in general. Now look, I'm at 5, 8, oh, there we go, taking damage. Like I said, taking meter damage is huge. Back up to 700, it's pretty solid. There you go. And then of course Critty Kitty is also very good because Critty Kitty works with Oberon's 1. So his 1 becomes then a just crit powerhouse, which is quite fantastic. Get a couple crits off on the Sonic Core. And I am running my standard. This is my sort of standard loadout, if you will. Dex Sybaris, Sonic Core, and Prism Dual Cleavers. I love all 3 of these weapons very much. So, and of course, in a team-like setting, you're going to have to deal with, you know, your team probably killing all these dudes quicker than I would be. But look, back up to 743 energy. Back up to max energy right there. So this build, very solid. And of course, you know, that's just the frame aspect of it. Running guns that are very solid, running things like that is amazing. Yeah, see, with no armor, these guys are great. And these are level 100 guys. I can show you guys with some 150s. I have not actually tested this out against the 155, so we'll see. Might get spadoidled here, but we shall see. Let's pull up 20 dudes at the 155 level. Alright, heal's still going. Yeah, it is important to note, yes, you can still pick up energy orbs and everything there, so... And of course the CC, just in general, of the ult is really nice because then people have to get up, you can do finishers on them, you know. The knockdown of that is good because then you can do ground finishers there. Like I said, I do like running Kavats and Pets in particular with Oberon because of his passive. You're like, oh, I've taken quite a bit of damage, you know, take a little breather, get behind some stuff, take some cover. There you go. I'm at full energy now. My heal is going. My heals are pretty solid. You know, if you're worried about things getting too close to you, just kind of take them down. And then that's where the melee and sort of like status are going to come in effect, is like really this high. But with the armor stripping, it's kind of one of those things where you're like, oh, you can kind of get away with it. See, that's the nice thing I love about Oberon is I can flip through the air, smash people down. You know, I have a little bit more flexibility in my sort of move sets, if you will, and what I can actually do in terms of traversing land. That's the reason I like the Dex Saber so much, though. It's a good medium to long range rifle. It works at close range, but yeah, it can still be kind of iffy. And then, just like I said, I can spam my 1 as much as I want, really, because I'm taking damage. You know, I'm making this thing work. There we go. Perfect. Apologies, I don't know if it's stuttering quite there. There's I'm getting a couple seconds of freeze. I'm trying to record to a new drive this time, so hopefully it's not too bad. But yeah, and there you have it. So as long as you play smart, and like I said, take meter damage. Don't try to just stand in front of enemies sometimes. If they're low enough, sure. Like if they're level 20s or something, sure, I could have just stood there and taken shots for days to slowly break my shields and slowly get my energy up. But you don't want to get in over your head and go down. At least I personally don't. I try not to real hard with that. So, yeah, guys, that's sort of the build breakdown for Oberon. Oberon Revisited. I've wanted to do this video for a long time. I'll probably start trying to do a couple reworked videos and newer sort of builds. But, yeah, guys, thank you guys for doing so much. I appreciate this, and I will see you guys in the next one.